politics.
Turning now to the 2024 presidential race and whether or not a third-party candidate actually has a shot. A recent NewsNation poll shows at least 49% of voters are considering the idea of a third-party candidate if there's a Biden-Trump rematch. One well-known political activist, Cornel West, is already in the race.
I have decided to run for truth and justice, which takes the form of running for president of the United States as a candidate for the People's Party.
Right. Meanwhile, a group called No Labels is looking for a more moderate third-party option. Some Democrats are expressing concern they could take votes away from Biden. Top Democratic strategists reportedly met with the group last week. No Labels takes an anti-Trump approach, claiming they will back out entirely if the candidate is not Trump in the GOP primary. So what do you make of this No Labels? And Mick, I know you've got some sort of involvement with them. So like, how real is this? Talk to us about it.
I was involved with them in the House when I was in 2011. I know a lot of these folks. I spoke to one of their gatherings down in Miami about the budget and so forth. Look, I think the time is uniquely right for a potential third party. I think it's one of those things that happens once every 50 or once every 100 years. And when you look at the numbers of 2/3 of Americans don't want Trump or Biden, that's real. These folks are for real and No Labels. They're working on getting a candidate on the ballot. They don't know who that candidate is yet, and that's important, and ballot access is important.
Joe Manchin?
That's the question. Who's going to, come out and be super excited about Joe Manchin?
Yeah. Well, but here's the bottom line, is I don't think they know yet if they're really interested in running a third party or if they're just interested in trying to prevent Donald Trump from being president, and that's two different things.
Right.
But that's the problem. I mean, yes, in spirit, I totally understand. There's a lot of Americans who would gladly feel good about voting for someone in the middle. It would siphon votes from Democrats and Republicans, which I think is a common misconception that it would hurt one party or the other, but this will never happen. A third-party candidate
I will
will
give you a
not
name.
win.
I will give you a name.
I will give you a name. Just
Give me a name.
mathematically and structurally,
He has a name. He's been sharing a name.
We have a majority single-party system. People have one vote. It will never happen.
It cannot be a retreaded politician. It can't be Cornel West. It's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah, he won the Rock. But
if he runs as a Republican, he could win.
Al also told me that he thinks The Rock should run, but I don't actually think that he's interested in it. I think he's actually been pretty public about some of the mental health issues he has with people attacking him, and you get a lot of attacking when you're running for president.
I absolutely agree if it's Oprah or The Rock and it's with a party, not
I
as a
agree.
third party.
It has to be with the party. And look at our history. We saw in 1968 George Wallace. Then we saw Ross Perot in 1992. Then Pat Buchanan in 2000. These candidates, all three of them, got less than 5%. I truly think this party this group is just trying to defeat Trump. And we've seen this. We saw this with an Ohio group back in the day when they were trying to defeat Trump. It's not going to happen. I think if we want to win the Republican primary and get the middle and independents back together, the Republicans need to figure it out. We need to stop attacking one another, and we need to actually be presidential. Get on a stage and talk about policies, immigration, taxes, inflation. Let's do that.
They were asking if we would run The Rock, and I think he actually may be a Republican.
He spoke at the 2000 Republican Convention.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.